Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me join today. I'm Ben, the Director of Partner Development for AppsFlyer. AppsFlyer, we are the attribution authority. That means globally, we work with over 75,000 app marketers. We're the global leader in attribution for measuring volume of installs, primarily around paid attribution campaigns. Our company itself is independent and unbiased, where we're not backed by any media companies. All of our clients are mobile marketers who's looking into insights into their mobile ad spend. So we had a long day looking at discussions around the App Store, but just want to sort of pull back and frame the discussion where people in app discovery, where it's happened. And most people are finding apps in the App Store, whether if they're searching or being featured in the app, and then they're hearing about friends, and then as a paid campaign in the media. But the trend of app discovery is largely broken. The number of apps that are available in the App Store, and we all know this story. And so what we want to share today is a new data study put together by AppsFlyer, looking at Apple search ads and comparing that to the quality of users and looking at the impact on discovery. So excited to share some new data points, and we'll have a full study available. So one of the main trends as part of app discovery is that the year-over-year change in organic downloads is down. That means a higher percentage of your installs are coming from paid acquisition sources compared to virality or organic campaigns. It's harder to get sort of free exposure, where we're seeing an increase in measurable installs and paid installs across all of our clients. And so to help fix this problem, Apple introduced Apple Search Ads. We see this as a positive thing for the App Store to create exposure. They really want to make it accessible from their basic to advanced versions for developers, and really leveraging the power of search intent, of keywords and discovery, using SplitMetrics and other terms to make this available. And so how does Apple fare? And so this is what we want to look at in our data study and some of our previous reports that we've done around Apple search ads. So AppsFlyer, every twice a year, we put out a AppsFlyer performance index. This is looking at the top networks by geo, by platform of iOS and Android, looking at gaming, non-gaming. Very detailed if you're comparing media sources by volume, by retention, by quality of installs, by ROI. Highly recommend checking out the AppsFlyer performance report if you're looking at UA discovery. And so what we saw universally in our most recent report with Apple search ads is for gaming, Apple coming in 5th place in our universal index in creating both the number of installs that we see as well as the quality. So in our overall scoring, Apple search ads is in the top 5. And when we look at non-gaming, Apple search ads is in the top 3. You now have 3 big guys, Facebook, Google, and Apple. And Apple has quickly joined this position as a top player for driving quality app installs and users. And so from the data study, wanted to go into the details of what this looked like and talk about some of the specifics and some key trends and highlights that are available. So this study was conducted in Q1 2018. We limited it to US-only traffic. We're measuring over 10 million Apple search ads app installs. And we're looking at over 230 apps that are running Apple search ads. There's a bunch more, but a lot of them didn't hit the minimum monthly threshold that we set of 2,000 installs through Apple search ads. As well as we're looking over 1,400 apps and comparing that with Apple Search Ads. We're looking across the top 50 media sources by value. And we're also looking at ROI. And so apps that are reporting revenue with AppsFlyer, we want to make that as a key component of the study. And so what we found as part of what you saw in the performance index report is this year-over-year growth in Apple Search Ads as a percentage as a media source. So overall, up 84%, that our marketers are leveraging Apple Search Ads more than ever and is taking a larger share of their spend, where if they're looking for channels to acquire users, Search Ads is quickly becoming a go-to source. Specifically, we see this in gaming as well as in non-gaming. And then let's dive into the metrics specifically. So when looking at the average revenue per user in gaming, we saw that Apple Search Ads was the #2 media source. And if you look at comparatively of the top 20 media sources, Apple Search Ads is 20% higher in generating average revenue per user over the top 20 ad networks. So if you're a gaming company, this is phenomenal stats for you, that you know the dollars and what you invest in Apple Search Ads is going to have a return on investment for you over this 90-day period. And just to clarify, we also like to look at the not just a one-day average revenue per user or 7 days. We like to look at a longer period, such as this 90-day period, to really get an insight of driving quality users. With non-gaming, when we looked at this specifically of acquisition sources, Apple in this new study came in as #1. So looking at non-gaming apps such as e-commerce, travel, video subscription apps, that Apple Search Ads is the go-to source. And we saw the numbers just fly off the charts as looking at average revenue per user over 90 days. So people who are coming to the App Store and searching or seeing ads that are relevant to them for non-gaming apps, they're seeing this huge increase in average revenue per user. And just, I would say specifically, that number is 35% higher than the average revenue per user over the top 20 ad networks. And then, one of the factors that leads into revenue is retention. So the higher the retention score, the higher the lifetime value of users. And so if we looked at retention of users who discovered through Apple Search Ads, we saw it as the fourth highest media source. We did a bit of weighting here. So we have the 7-day weighting, and then we have a 30-day weighted retention. So we think that 30-day has a higher factor in generating good users and coming back into your app versus those that just had only 7-day retention that is happening. And then again, looking at non-gaming. So if you're an app developer or promoting a e-commerce or travel app, or non-gaming app, Apple Search Ads, the retention quality is very, very high. It's above any other paid media sources we've seen in Q1, skyrocketing to first place. These are very high quality users that you're acquiring and are coming into your app. And then, part of retention is, not the full life cycle, from the install of what we measure as a first app open to the uninstall rate of when we no longer see this user in the app. And so we're looking at, for non-gaming US, the number of installs, and about 20% of people had uninstalled within this 30-day period, but the lower the number, the better. So in this case, it was a good metric to be in sort of this bottom 3 in uninstall rates. Similarly in gaming, so when we look at gaming rates, that if people are discovering games through Apple Search Ads, only 15% of users that we saw had uninstalled within the first 30 days. So it's not just blind discovery and trying a game and putting it down. It's actually generating high quality users that are going to generate a longer lifetime value with retention and less likely to uninstall. And then let's look at the cost component. We've looked at the retention metrics and quality of users that are happening, but we also want to see the ROI impact of users. So in this case, looking at CPI costs, not just the paid acquisition cost, but the total number of installs within a period. And with Apple Search Ads, we are seeing it as ROI positive. Looking at it as we've seen an increase in the CPI price from last year to this year, so the prices are increasing, but we still see a good effect of acquiring users and seeing a total increase in users from Apple Search Ads. Again, similar trends in non-gaming, a bit more expensive, if you look at non-gaming comparatively, but again, looking at those quality users, it's an important factor and an important go-to channel. And so I want to leave you with key takeaways. So AppsFlyer, we've seen significant growth in Apple Search Ads year over year. We've seen that decreased trend in organic virality, where paid is generating a higher portion due to app discovery limitations. Apple Search Ads, the performance we saw for non-gaming apps is at the top of the charts. Gaming is good. Don't want to limit gaming by any means, but non-gaming we see as a great channel. And then we see quality. So quality installs, long-term retention rates, low uninstall rates, but it comes with the price. You see rising costs, metrics with Apple Search Ads, and just begin to factor that the cost will be ever increasing with quality of users. So thank you. I'm glad to answer questions and appreciative for taking part of today's sessions.